All right. It's Thursday, May 30th, and it's just almost 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've been trying all morning to connect to Rhythmic, and just only a few minutes ago, I was finally able to connect to it. I saw that there were in a bunch of discords. I saw people were complaining, saying there were issues, and I went over to Apex's Discord and saw that they said to not trade. They were looking into it, but it's pretty clear that something is going on this morning. Seems like all kinds of people were stuck in trades and being entered in the trades that they weren't trying to take, and all kinds of issues. So after an hour of trying, I'm finally able to connect, but I don't know if that means it's actually working properly. So I don't really want to take a trade on any of my accounts, just doesn't even seem worth it to take a trade. I did take the orb just on my personal sim account, and I won that pretty easily. And the big takeaway for me on that one, here's the trade. The big takeaway for me on this one was we had already been at the top of the Bollinger. And so I just decided, okay, well, it's just sim. And my expectation is to go to the bottom of the Bollinger. So I just entered enough below the midline Bollinger that I figured if it goes this far, then maybe it'll go all the way to the bottom of the Bollinger. And that worked. So maybe the Bollinger will actually help me choose a direction on the orbs as I move forward. So, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count on my stats or anything because it's just on the sim account. So obviously there's just a lot going on with Apex right now. It seems like these issues are happening just way too often on Rhythmic, on Tradeovate. It doesn't even matter which one you're on. If it's not one, it's the other. So I don't know how they solve that issue. But it seems like they need to get together with Rhythmic and their technical team and come up with a fix once and for all these issues. Because I know that when I traded on my live account, I never had these kinds of issues that they experience on CGQ or whatever it's called. So hopefully they'll, I don't know, they really need to get together with Rhythmic and figure out why this thing happens and get a permanent fix for it. It just happens way too often. So I don't know how long I'm going to stay on this stream. I don't really feel like trading on sim because if I do really great, it'll just piss me off that it wasn't on my Apex accounts. So it'll just feel like a waste. And it'll probably make me more frustrated than I already am for trying to get connected to Rhythmic for an hour before it finally connected. And I'm as frustrating as that is, I'm sure it's a lot more frustrating for people that blew up their accounts or got some ridiculous amount of profit that will ruin their 30% consistency and cause them have issues getting payouts if it's not, if they don't get their windfalls taken away. So I think people, and then besides that, they probably had winning trades that for one reason or another, either they made too much or they ended up blowing their account that ended up going against them when they couldn't get out of the trade. And I'm sure I'd be way more worried about that than my issue of just not being able to get connected. So I think I think there's a lot of frustration that's going to be out there, and then that's on top of all the Apex, drama, whatever you want to call it, with them implementing their rules in a stricter way or being more enforced. And there's all kinds of people that are complaining and upset about being denied payouts for one reason or another. Definitely seeing, as of this morning, it seems like I'm seeing a whole lot more of people getting denied for DCA. Hadn't really been seeing a lot of it yet, but today it seems like all of a sudden a lot of people at the same time are saying that they got denied for DCA. So I can understand they're being frustrated with that if they did all of their DCAing before the kind of announcement or whatever you want to call it about the new enforcement of DCA. Because obviously, even though DCA was a rule in their contracts the whole time, and they were, because I remember reading it, we all know that they didn't enforce it, and people were DCAing all over the place and getting payouts. So now they're enforcing it, but people were doing it before the announcement of the enforcement. So I don't know. I think that obviously would be frustrating if, the culture was to allow for it and approve payouts, and then, you trade a whole window leading up to a payout period where you're just doing the same as you ever were. They always got payouts, and then all of a sudden, at the end of that window, they say, "Oh, we're enforcing this now," and then you get denied. I could see how that would be frustrating. At the same time, though, if now that it's known that they're enforcing it, it's like, okay, well, if you didn't stop doing DCA when you know that that's being enforced, then that's on you. So, I don't know. Personally, I don't feel affected by any of the rules or any of the enforcement or anything that's going on. I kind of tried out DCA, and honestly, it didn't make things go any better for me. I tried not having stops on my accounts, especially on the orb. That didn't work out that great for me. I lost 4 accounts that way, 4 out of the 10. And other accounts I had for months and months and months before I blew them up. And for the first time ever, I blew up accounts in the first month. Trading that way. So it didn't, it wasn't like I was able to capitalize and get a payout by using my account as the stop loss. So that doesn't really affect me. I'll go back to doing what I was doing before. I was doing better, actually, when I think about it. So I'm just going to trade by the rules, and I don't anticipate that I'll have any issues getting payouts if I can ever actually just qualify for a payout. So other than that, I think it's all good. As you can see, I've now got my PA account here, and so I've got my PA account, and saw the new contract for the first time when you signed the PA account, and it seemed all fine to me. It seemed like they finally have like a professional contract, which is probably better for everybody to a certain degree. So I think they're just, they're enforcing the rules, or, to me, it's like they're trying to run the company the way it probably should have been run from the get-go. And I guess they just weren't prepared for how big they got. So things got a little out of hand. And to me, until proven otherwise, I still feel like Apex is the best prop firm out there, despite all this stuff. I know there's a lot of people mad, but they also put out like a ton of videos yesterday about like what they've been dealing with and what the issues that they're up against. And for anyone that thinks like it was like Alpine Trader and what he was doing that caused them to react the way they have, based on what they showed, it doesn't seem like an Alpine issue virtually at all. I mean, it might be like things that Alpine was kind of doing, but it was like people that were doing it, but they're showing like people that had 900 PA accounts and over 1,000 evaluations and all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, Alpine is nowhere near doing all that. So just didn't seem like it was necessarily him. It seemed like, maybe he was promoting things that people were doing and they were doing it like way more extreme than him and really, pushing the limits. And, it kind of makes sense that they have to try to figure out a way to clean that up. So not entirely surprising when you kind of see all that. I just think the rollout, they could have done the initial rollout better if they had these videos prepared from the get-go. They said, hey, we're having some issues. We got to figure out a way to deal with them. Watch all these videos. We want to implement some changes. We're going to have to enforce rules and be a little bit more strict. And we're really targeting a certain group of people that are really taking advantage, but it's not the majority of traders. And, here's the things that you have to watch out for. If you're doing these things, adjust. We know most of our users are honest traders and just trying to trade and do well. And those people don't have to really be so affected. It's more these other people that are, doing these really extreme things. And I think it would have gone a lot better. But unfortunately, they didn't have the foresight to release the information that way around. And, everybody makes mistakes. So I just say that was their mistake, but at the same time, they have the right to implement any rules they want. It's their company. So I don't really have any complaints. I just figure like, okay, well, if I'm working somewhere, if I'm working for a company, there's all kinds of things in the contract that I sign when I work for a company. And I would imagine that if I break the rules of something I sign, they could fire me, they could not pay me, they could do all kinds of things. So it's not really any different what Apex is trying to implement in their contract. I think it's all fine and good. It's just like, okay, now it's very clear. And I just won't do anything that, even threads the line of being close to breaking the rules. Just try to stay away from anything that even resembles that. But at the same time, things like the orb, the way I traded it here, that's not against the rule. And it was, it's been clarified in multiple ways, different times. As long as you're choosing a direction, and not putting an OCO on top and bottom, and as long as you're using a stop and the stop isn't more than 3-1 or 4-1, the orb is a fine trade to take. There's no rule against the orb itself. Just the rule is you have to choose a direction and you have to use a stop. I think that's really the only rule. So like the way I took this trade today, if it were on my Apex accounts, especially on my PA account, that trade would be fine and appropriate. Now, they might ask me to show them a video where I took the trade and say, prove that you didn't do OCO. I don't know. Or maybe they'll say, send us your logs. We want to see that you didn't have an OCO order. when you took that trade. I'd be like, all right, here's my logs. Oh, you want a video? Here's the video. It's fine. Because I know that I did everything according to the rules and I didn't use the OCO. So, I think that's just the deal, right? The DCA thing, I don't personally agree with kind of how they're looking at what the DCA is, but at the same time, I think it's their company and they have the right to say like, hey, we're making it a rule here for our trading that DCA is what they define it as, and it's not allowed. It's prohibited. It's like, all right, well, that's your rule. And if I didn't like it, I'd go somewhere else, but I don't care. So, and in fact, I think they actually made it a better rule than it originally was in their contracts. If they're going to enforce a rule, like they're actually saying, well, you can actually DCA one time. You can enter one additional time when the trade goes against you, which wasn't in their contract at all before. And now it is. So I actually think the rule is better than it used to be. They just didn't enforce it before. So that's not better if you were doing it. But now that's being enforced. It's actually written in a better way. What else? So anyway, if you look on their website, kind of like in their frequently asked questions section somewhere, I think they have like a new section, maybe I forget where I saw it, but they have a whole bunch of videos about what's allowed, what's not allowed, why they're doing it. And then they talk about maybe the possible things that they would consider doing differently that might be better for traders. And I really like some of the stuff that they're talking about doing. They're talking about maybe not having pay windows anymore. And I think, to me, that would be really great, because the pay windows, even though I've never gotten quite to the 2600 promised land target to be able to request a payout on a PA account, done it on the evaluations, obviously, to pass them. But I think just like those windows and like it lining up for a window, it was like one extra thing of extra pressure when I would get close, because I've been close so many times to a payout. And so like knowing like where the window is and if I'm near it or far from it, or if I have time or if I don't have time, trying to be in the window and being like one trade away and all that kind of, it was like one extra thing that I think really kind of messed me up and got in my head. So if they were going to not have a payout window and you could just request anytime you hit the profit target and you have enough traded days, like to me, that would be huge. Like I would want that, like no matter what. And then they're talking about, well, what if we can make the number of trading days, mandatory trading days to qualify for a payout? What if it could be 8 days instead of 10? And like, I think that'd be great. I mean, I don't think that I'd actually be at the profit target in 8 days, no matter what I do, typically. But I think that's better for traders, and I think it's better to just have a lower number of trading days that are, required as minimum days. So I think that would be really awesome. And then I think, doing away with the 30% consistency rule and saying, it's 30%, but it could be a little over, and having it be a gray area. You're talking about, well, what if we made it just a 40% black and white? And I think that would be awesome, because then it's black and white. I'm a black and white kind of guy. So in terms of like knowing what is okay or not okay, like I just want to know definitively, this is do the calculation. Math is math. If the math works, you would be able to get a payout if you're 40% or under. And if you're 40.00001%, well, maybe that's too much, I'm okay with that. I think that'd be better. And also just the 40% number is a way better number, way easier to trade within that. I think that would be a no-brainer. So to me, I'd love to see those changes. Those were like the three main ideas that were put out there. right from the first video. And to me, like, I would be definitely down for that. And then there was like some talk about like safety net rules and maybe scaling rules as far as number of contracts you can trade. I don't know about all that. So some other like kind of funky ideas, like making it you have to, have at least a certain number of profitable days where you make X amount of money for like 4 days or something out of the 8 days. I don't love that. That's more like some other companies that are out there that do that. But if they did the first three things I talked about, even if they implemented a safety net, maybe, I don't know. It depends what it might be, what they would want to do. I wouldn't even hate a safety net because honestly, I know that I'll most likely definitely be one of those people that if I can take out $2,000 when I get to 2,600 in profit, then I'm going to take the $2,000 and I'm only at 500 in drawdown, and much, much, much more likely to blow up the account at that point, obviously. So if there's like a little bit of a safety net where if I can take out 2,000, but I'll still have 1,000 in the account, like that would be better for me. So I don't know. Obviously, if it's like a big safety net, I'm not down for that. So we'll see what they do. But apparently, all this stuff is going to be put up to some kind of survey or vote, and so I'll just be looking out for that, and I'll chime in with my opinion, and we'll see where everything ends up. To me, right now, the biggest issue is just that I don't feel like I can trade because Rhythmic is having issues today. I'm going to go onto their Discord and see if anything has changed. I don't see any announcements. I don't see anything saying that Rhythmic is okay. I mean, I've been on a nice little run here, so I don't want to trade and then run into an issue, and then they say, oh well, the issues were earlier in the day, and you traded at this time, and we don't think there were issues anymore. I don't want to leave myself at risk for that. And they did post, I posted it in my community page, just that not to trade on Rhythmic, that there's issues. So I would expect them to release some kind of statement saying, okay, Rhythmic is now working and okay to trade with before I trade. So yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm probably just going to end the stream soon if they don't make some sort of announcement that everything's all good with the platform. I'm just looking at Facebook and people posting about Apex rules, and I feel like people just don't read and don't watch the videos. They want the like personal attention of asking the question, that if they watch the videos, the answer is there. If they read the contract, the answer is there. I don't know. People like to whine a lot. I'm not a complainer. It's just, oh, there's an issue. I have to do something different. Okay, let me figure it out. I'll do it that way. I don't really get why there's like this like thing where people always want to be a victim. I don't get it. It's like, you don't like something, go somewhere else, or figure out how to change what you're doing so that it's not an issue. It's really simple. All right, so I'm just still trying to keep my eye out in case there's some kind of announcement. But I've been doing too well this week for me to take trades on Apex accounts if there's some rhythmic issue still going on. So it literally took me an hour just to be able to get connected. And I'm just seeing so many people saying that they've had like really bad issues on their accounts today. So I just don't even want to take a chance of running into a problem, and then for all I know, they say, oh well, the issue was actually an hour earlier, and when you traded and had your problem, it wasn't a widespread issue anymore. So I'm just staying away. And then that's where I'm at, because the last thing I want to do is kind of mess up what I've been doing that's been working lately. And it's too bad too. I mean, I've got tick charts that are good. Like, there's been some good movement today in the price action. So I feel like I'm missing a great day to trade. I was here and up early to trade. Would rather just stayed in bed and been sleeping. But yeah, I've got two great tick charts that look amazing. Would have definitely liked some trades on here. And the 1 minute I liked, the opening orb trade I liked, was able to take that. Pretty confident I would have taken it on at least my evaluations. It's also a day not traded when I've got all these accounts to trade. I've got all these accounts to trade, and only so much time in the first month to trade them. And so I'm losing a day there. So, yeah. I really hope that they can figure out a way to like get a permanent fix for their rhythmic issues. Work with rhythmic and figure it out. But other than that, just the rules situation just does not matter to me or affect me I signed that new contract. I read every single word in the new contract. I don't understand why people aren't reading the contracts. Every time I've gotten a new contract, I've always made sure it says the same thing as it said last time. If it says something new, I have taken note, and that's happened. So, the contract I signed for this new PA was much, much different than the last one I signed. And that was only a month ago when I signed for my last PA. So, just not worried about the Apex rules. I think it's really just, I don't know. It's just not something that I see as a problem for myself. The only problem I have is Rhythmic, because I'm afraid to trade on my Apex accounts using Rhythmic right now until somebody makes an announcement at Apex saying that the problem has been fixed. I know a lot of people seem to be getting declined for DCA all of a sudden. The only thing I don't disagree, or the only thing I disagree about is if people were doing the DCA before and they were getting approved, and then, this recent announcement came out that, okay, we're enforcing the rule that you can't DCA. And so I think if that announcement came out and people are already, however far into the window of trading for the 10 days of trading, leading into a payout, and then they request the payout, I kind of think like, well, they should wait one additional payout before they enforce the rule. And they should maybe like send out an email saying, we're going to approve you this time, but you did violate the DCA rule and we're aware of it. And so please do not DCA any longer after this point, because you will be declined next time. I think that could have been a good way to handle it, but it's their company, and I think they have every right to run it however they want, honestly. I mean, do you go to like Apple and try to tell them how they should, handle their products, or handle when they fix their products for you or whatever, or like when they recall something, or when they decide to like do some free fix based on, a bigger problem or not? I don't know if it's an exact correlation, but it's like you don't really have control over it. Corporations are going to do what they want to do and run their business the way they want to run their business. So personally, I was trying the DCA thing out myself recently, and for the most part, it really didn't make my results better. Maybe a couple times, but I also lost accounts a couple times because I was doing it. So I think it's actually probably better for me not to do it, quite honestly, especially now that I'm trading on the 1 minute chart. The ATR is just typically much, much lower than the tick charts I was trading on. Like even today, this is like a high ATR for what I've seen since I've been trading on the 1 minute. It's at 44 ticks. I mean, I was trading on tick charts that have, 60, 70, 80 tick ATRs. So, so just the nature of that alone, I mean, I could be going for between 20 and 25 ticks and be risking like, a day like today, less than 50. And, it's like 2-to-1 risk reward. So that's way better than what I was doing on the tick charts. I was having like, sometimes my risk reward was like 6-to-1, maybe sometimes even worse. So, let's see. On one of my tick charts right now, it's 57 ticks, and the other one is 64 ticks. So I definitely have higher risk trading on the tick charts. And I've been I've been trading on the 1 minute chart and being successful this week so far. So definitely gives me a better chance for a better risk reward. And then it just means that I don't really need to DCA because I'll just accept the loss at, if I'm 2-1, or even sometimes there's been days where it's been like a 30 tick ATR, a lot of days since I've been watching it. So then I'm like almost 1-1. So I'll just take the loss, move on to the next trade. You're basically back to break even. I'd rather do that than DCA anyway. So I just honestly really hope, let me see. I just really honestly hope that they do implement the no pay window. I think that would be really awesome. No pay window, 8 days minimum trading days, and 40% consistency rule. I would be all for it. Like those 3 things, I think are that would be great. Like to me, despite DCA rule, despite new rules for the OCO orders, despite what else did they do? Whatever they are, whatever the rules are, despite all those things, I still think if they made it no pay windows, you could just request anytime you have the 8 days and you have the profit target, and you're within a 40% consistency and you traded 8 days, to me, that makes Apex the best still. And despite not being able to DCA, despite needing to kind of consistently have about 3-1 or 4-1 risk reward on your trades. And they explain they don't look at every single individual trade every day and make sure that you've done that every single day. They're just talking about, when you do take losses, what is the balance between when you're winning and when you're losing? Are you losing, 8-1, or are you losing 3 or 4-1? I think that's fine with me. All right. So yeah, I'm still not seeing anything saying that there's anything fixed. So I don't know if there's really much more reason to stick around on the stream. I would have loved to be trading today. this is pretty interesting move down. Coming all the way back to that previous resistance. Got almost there that time. And just looking at the Bollinger, you know, we had a pierce of the top. Usually when you pierce the top, like here, come down to the bottom, did it here, came down to the bottom, did it here, came down to the bottom. Actually, that's not the bottom, that's the midline. But in any case, in fact, there's kind of like two here. It went to the bottom here. One here, went to the bottom there. One there, you go to the bottom there. So that's a daily. Here's a 5 minute. So a pretty strong move down. Past two legs. And the 15 minute. Look at that. I mean, that's when you know you got a strong push down, close outside, and it's still going. But usually it'll snap back inside, so. So also it's interesting, you know, there's now like a legitimate like NDA portion of the contracts we sign for the PAs, which I don't think were there in the original contracts that I remember signing, or if they were there, it wasn't very well written. So it's interesting, all the people on YouTube that really show a lot of their information, and show like emails and this and that, because, you know, they're not really supposed to do that. So I'm just gonna always be careful what I talk about or show. But as you can see, I've always hidden my account numbers, and you know, I thought I would like show when I finally get payout eventually one day, maybe, that I'd be able to show the emails or whatever. So I gotta think about how I would do that if I ever get there. Because obviously, you know, I'm not doing this to violate any kind of contract or NDAs or anything. I'm just literally doing this YouTube to just show my journey and show whether someone like me who's been not profitable can figure out how to become profitable using a prop firm. And that's really just completely, entirely what my channel is about. So definitely not trying to use it as a platform to like get a whole lot of views or subscribers, or be some kind of clickbait, or tell somebody that, you know, this is the way you do it, or try to teach, or try to say my way of trading is the way of trading. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'll leave that to all those other YouTubers out there who do that for whatever their reasons are. But I'm just literally just trying to show like I'm just a regular guy trying to figure this thing out. And right now I'm using prop firms to see if I can make some money, and I'm just trying to trade honestly, you know. So I think prop firms are a great opportunity, and whether it's Apex or anyone else, you know, I think they're giving great opportunities to be able to trade for much less money than if you were to take your own money and go try to trade NQ in a live account. Yeah, you'd be risking way more money on a daily basis and on a trade by trade basis, just trading a single NQ contract, day in and day out. So that's what my channel is about, is just trying to see if I can do it and just document it. And then if the shared experience is helpful to anybody out there, that's awesome. But otherwise, yeah, I don't care if I have only 100 subscribers compared to other people. That's fine with me. Hopefully one day I'll get to the point of my trading where I'm so consistent. Like right now I'm 80% consistent basically. Yeah, hopefully one day I'll get to the point where I'm so consistent and I am getting payouts and being consistent with payouts that the 100 people that do check me out will be like, oh, this guy finally figured it out. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to try to use my platform to like my small platform. I'm not going to try to use it to like, yeah, make any waves. All right. I was hoping that there would be some kind of like email, or I mean, it doesn't seem like they send out emails when there's issues. I wish they would. Or I wish they would have some sort of like go-to spot when there's an issue where you can just somehow be alerted. Well, if there's a go-to spot, that means it's on us to like go check. I wish there was some kind of like way they alerted us other than just Discord. A lot of people aren't even on Discord or don't even look at Discord. It's literally the only reason why I have the Apex Discord is just so I can be aware of days like today when there's an issue. Because otherwise I don't even ever use Apex's Discord to say anything to anybody. I don't ask questions in there. I don't talk to anybody in there. I barely read it because it's just usually so ridiculous. You know, people just want to be spoon-fed. They want to be able to ask the question directly, and they want to be spoon-fed an answer. And they don't know how to go watch a video where it already answers the question, or go read the contract that answers the question. So it's kind of just a big shit show in there. But I like it because at least they do send out those messages like I posted in the community page on my YouTube that says like, hey, there's an issue and we're working on it and we're aware of it and don't trade. I mean, technically it says stop all trading of Rhythmic accounts if you're experiencing issues. My issue was I couldn't even connect for an hour. So it doesn't give me a warm and fuzzy feeling now that I'm connected to start trading on it. So I'm just not trading. But I was hoping that there would be something by now saying like, okay, you can trade. It's all good. That doesn't seem to be coming. So that's the only reason why I started my stream today, was just hoping that that would come out. I do gotta say, I do like the 1 minute chart, and I do feel like I like this Bollinger situation. I'm still getting used to trading with it. Like part of me wants to just trade on sim today just to like practice or whatever, forward test. All right, I'm just going to take a couple minute break. I'm going to leave the stream running and hope that there's some sort of signal. Give me some sort of bat signal that Rhythmic is okay. I know some people are still trading and they seem to be okay. But I just don't like when it's such a big issue. I know so many people were affected. I don't want to, I don't have good luck like that. So anyway, I'll be right back in a couple minutes. I'll just leave this running and hopefully I'll be able to trade at some point before I decide to stop. Hey, Emma, I'm not sure when you just wrote that, but I'm going to be back in just like 2 more minutes. Just been away for a little bit here. Pop, coming right back. All right, I'm back. I was just hanging out, playing with my daughter. She just left for school right now. Are you still here? I just don't think I'm going to trade today. I think I'm going to stop my stream here in a minute. Sorry about that. My daughter came back in here for a second. She decided she didn't want to wear shorts. She wanted pants. All right. So Amma said earlier, I hear Bolinox Rhythmic is working fine. Yeah, so I don't know what goes on with these Apex connections between the Rhythmic and the Tradevate. It seems like just constantly one or the other is just, it seems like just constantly having issues. And it does seem like, a lot of times, Rhythmic will be down for one company and not another. I mean, I've seen times where Top Step was down on, I don't know if it was Rhythmic or Tradevate or what, but I remember saying, Top Step was having issues and it was a day where, Apex was fine. And then obviously a number of times where there's Apex issues, but Top Step was fine, or other companies. So, I don't know what the deal is. You would think it's such an important thing, the Rhythmic connection, and the Tradevate connection. We can't do what we do without a solid connection for the data. So they really need to figure out a way to just get rid of these sorts of issues. I mean, it really happens way too often, but I don't think it's an Apex issue. It's a Rhythmic issue, but I think Apex needs to get with Rhythmic and get with their technical team, and they need to really figure it out. And I guess different companies work off of different servers, is my understanding. So that's why today it might be Apex having an issue, tomorrow it might be some other company having an issue. But it's like it just seems like it happens more often than they should put up with, because obviously, Apex pays a fee to Rhythmic. Amma says, as a programmer, I reckon it crashed. Right. So if it crashed, those things happen, but like there's not like a backup system. I mean, I know in my work, we have a lot of redundancies so that if one thing stops working, then we have another way of connecting and being able to continue our work. So, it seems like at the very least there should be some kind of backup redundancy system to take over when something goes wrong. Amma says the short is very aggressive. You're in a short? I'm afraid to trade right now, so I'm not even trading. Like, I just have the sim account on, and I literally walked away to play with my daughter before school because I was just like, I don't even know why I'm sitting here, because I've just been waiting for Apex to put out an update on their Discord saying that everything's fine, and it hasn't come. I've seen that other people seem to be trading now and they're okay. They're not having problems anymore, but I don't like to trade when I know there was a massive problem and people had all kinds of really bad issues, and then there's no message saying good to go. So was short from 18,685. So short from somewhere around here. I hope you already took your profit before this happened. Also, it's just like the worst timing ever for Apex to have Rhythmic problems when people are already pissed about the rules and the DCA and getting denied payouts. And, today it seems like today seems like the day where like a lot of payouts are being declined for DCA specifically, is what I've noticed. So, yeah, been seeing a lot of people being upset about being declined for DCA today. And I talked about it a little bit in my stream earlier. Just, I kind of understand people's side of it if they were DCAing before and they weren't being declined for their payouts because of it, and then they make this announcement, but it's already well into the trading period for the next payout, and then they make the announcement that they're going to be more strict about that rule. It seems like there should be like a grace period of like one more payout maybe before they start declining payouts, but that's just my opinion. Obviously, Apex can do whatever they want as a company, and we all sign the contracts, and the DCA rule has always been there, so they have every right to decline it if that's what they want to do. They're just not going to have a very happy user base, and it probably will get people to want to go elsewhere. But I mean, Apex is huge, in the space. They're the biggest, so if some small percentage of people stop trading with them, I don't think they're going to hurt too bad for it. And there will always be new people that come back, or new people that try it for the first time, or other people that will come back eventually. So I just personally don't. I have no concerns about the rules. I just got my new PA. Got it last night and read the new contract. Read the entire thing, and the contract to me looks like probably what it should have been from the start. Just seemed like it was more professionally prepared, and to me it was like probably I'd say it was, Ama, you saw it too. I'd say when I first signed up for Apex and for prop firms, the contract as it stands now looks a lot more like what I would have expected in the first place. So I don't really have any issues with it. Ama says, I see no problem, just trade normal. That's what I think. I see no problem with it. Honestly, I tried the DCA. I was trying that out a little bit recently, and I don't think it helped me to DCA. Like, if anything, it was like maybe it helped me on a couple of trades, but then I think I probably blew up a couple accounts because of it too. So, I think they make a good point about it not really ultimately being the best thing in terms of risk management. And you're more likely to blow up an account doing it. And so, they're probably doing me a favor by stopping me from doing it early before I get too used to doing it. Alma says, yeah, I'd rather close the trade. Yeah, I agree. Especially I was saying too, now that I'm trading on the 1 minute chart where it has typically lower ATR than my tick charts. My tick charts, I was on average anywhere between 50 and 80, sometimes even 90 ticks ATR. And on the 1 minute chart, I'm seeing it a lot of times around 30 ticks ATR. Right now it's 31, almost 32 ticks. Earlier in the morning, it was around 40 ticks. So right there, my risk size will be reduced almost in half in a lot of cases. And that was part of the problem with my strategy on the tick charts on the BS system, is just sometimes my risk reward was like really bad. Like it was like, sometimes I'd be like 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, even 9-1 sometimes. So it was really, really bad. And now if I trade on the 1 minute chart more, which is what's just been kind of happening naturally lately, then there's times where I could be 1-1 or 2-1 on my trades, and 3-1 like is very reasonable on the 1 minute chart. So yeah, I'd rather just take a loss if I'm 1-1 or 2-1, even 3-1, knowing that I can make it up in 3 or less trades, sometimes make it up in 1 trade or 2 trades. So there's really no reason for me to feel like I need to DCA actually on the 1 minute chart. Yeah, Amma says, yeah, I'd rather close the trade and accept I was wrong. ADR is a strategy, right? You know about it? Not ADR, ATR. I think it's for average true range, which is this number up here that I'm circling at the top. I know it's small, so it's hard to see, but ATR right now it says 31.88. And so I have it set to show ticks. So it's 31.88 ticks. So basically 32 ticks. And that's just giving you the average range of what the bars are for the last, I don't know what it is. I think it's like the last 21 bars, or I forget what it's set to. But so just knowing that the average length of the bars, and usually the way I take trades is I usually use a bar as kind of like a signal bar. And so the length of the bar I'm trading against is usually my risk size. So like if I was trading off this bar, this would be, the risk is this bar if I was going short. So it'd be 34 ticks. So usually my stop would be 1 tick above the bar, and then I'd be going for my profit. So 34 ticks. And lately I'm going for like between 20 and 25 ticks on the 1 minute chart. Less than a 2-to-1 risk reward in this case, if I was taking that trade. So I wish I could feel confident in Rhythmic today to trade. I mean, I have so many accounts, so many evaluations to trade before the first month comes up. Like I'm literally going to have to start like just copy trading just to even have a chance to trade them all, or I'm going to have to trade really big size as it gets closer and closer to renewal, just to even have a chance to like trade them, because I have so many. Yeah, I've only been getting like 2 or so trades a day when I'm trading the way I should be trading, which is still good, 10 trades a week on average for 5 days. But to like lose a day of trading. And also, by the way, today's the last day of the 90% sale too. So given that they have these issues today, I don't know if they're going to decide to extend it again. It's been extended so much. I mean, it's been like 90% in 1 day pass for like over a month. It's been like a month and a half, I think. So, but almost, considering it's the last day, and they have to like fix all those accounts, it kind of seems like they should extend it, but see what they do. So yeah, I don't really foresee me taking a trade on Apex accounts today. I was really hoping, it took me an hour just to connect. I literally was here at 6:25 in the morning, and I didn't get connected till about 7:30. So a full hour just to connect, and then I was thinking, oh well, now that connected, maybe maybe they'll send out a message on Discord saying that the problem's been fixed sometime soon. So the fact that here we are, it's now 9:10 Pacific, and still no message like that. Just the issues were too big for me to feel comfortable trading it, even though I know people are trading it, and it seems to be okay now. But Amma says, and I'm still waiting for a 2,000 Top Step X payout so I can try a 90% off 1 day pass. So were you approved for the 2,000 payout yet, or you're still waiting for approval? Forget if you said. Congratulations, though, if you're approved. That's great. Alma says, yeah, I submitted that on Tuesday. Cool. Well, congratulations. That's a nice achievement. Oh, by the way, Amma, since you're always interested in the orb, Amma says hopefully they extend the sale. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, for me, I don't personally need it because I've got all these accounts. Like I said, I'm not going to be adding any more accounts right now, but I think it makes sense for people that were considering buying today, and then there's these issues. As far as the orb, I took it today. I only took it on SIM because of the Apex issues, so I wasn't even able to connect to Apex at the time. But I was able to connect to my my live brokerage account and use the SIM on my personal account. So I just traded SIM, and it was like a really easy trade. I actually kind of used the Bollinger because I figured, yeah, I kind of looked at it like this was like the top, right? And I kind of looked at it like we had pierced the top of the Bollinger. We came from the bottom, and I was just thinking to myself, okay, well, if we go below the midpoint of the Bollinger, I just felt and believed that we would get to the bottom of the Bollinger. So I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to just only put a short in. I didn't OCO, even though I would be able to on evaluation. I'm just trying to do it the way the rules state you can do it for the PA account, which, by the way, was confirmed. The orb trade is allowed. It is a trade that you can take on your PA accounts as long as you have a stop and you are going for 3-to-1 or 2 or 4-to-1 at the worst case scenario, and you're not OCOing, you're not putting an order on top and bottom, you're choosing a direction. So so yeah, this bar was the 930. So this bar was the bar right before it. This is where I had my order right here. And then this is where I came out for 22 ticks. So it worked right away. Unfortunately, only on SIM today because of the issues. I wasn't even connected to Rhythmic. I wasn't even able to. Alma says, I could not enter a trade, skipped it. Yeah. So this, again, was only on SIM for me. So not on any of my Apex accounts. But it would have worked. So I'm going to kind of follow. And now that I'm having the, the Bollinger Bands on, I'm going to see if it gives me any sort of hint or direction. Because today I felt like it did. It gave me like a little bit of insight to like, okay, we pierced the top. And it was kind of like a double pierce, like pierced it here. And I've talked about this, I think yesterday, where I notice a lot of times where when it reaches the top of the Bollinger and kind of pierces twice, usually a lot of times we'll come back to the bottom of it. So I'm just going to keep my eye on that in the future and see if it's helpful. But it was confirmed today. I saw Daryl confirmed. Alma says that BB strat is starting to make sense as a question mark. Well, I don't know. I'm still watching it. It's still early days, but I'm definitely finding things that I like about it. And I think it's not something I'm necessarily going to just take a trade just only based on Bollinger. But if I see a setup that I would normally take and it makes sense within the Bollinger, it's like an extra reason to trust the trade. And it also helps give targets because, if you're on one side of the Bollinger and you're expecting to go to the other side, just kind of the way I'm thinking about it is to just put my profit target a little bit ahead of the other side. And I can either play it for the midpoint of the Bollinger, because sometimes it does do this, where the midpoint plays support and it doesn't come to the bottom. Or if there's a belief that it'll go to the bottom, then you can kind of aim for the bottom. But yeah, I'm liking it. I mean, especially just on the 1 minute chart. I don't know if I'd like it not on a 1 minute chart. I don't know if I'd like it on tick charts. I don't know. But I do like it on the 1 minute chart so far. And so far, I took off my EMA on the 1 minute chart, and I kind of feel like I'm fine with not having the EMA because the midline somewhat is similar to like having an EMA, the midline of the Bollinger. So I don't know. I'm just going to continue using it, observing it, and seeing when and where I can take advantage of it, and just fold it into what I already do. I think you saw last week that I didn't have much success just trying to, like, here's another example. I mean, here's an example of, you got to close on the upper band and then it goes above on the next bar and you can easily get 5 points. But I was entering late. Both times I tried this last week, I didn't enter where I was supposed to. Here is what I'm thinking, above the first bar that does it. I was entering like way up here, and then I took some losses. So I don't know. That's something I might try to start to do, and just probably use the previous swing low as where my stop goes in those cases. So in this case, just curious, my stop would be approximately, I mean, it's pretty big, approximately 11 points or so. 44 ticks. It's not that big. So seems like it might be a reasonable strategy, but I'm going to watch it more before I start trying to take those trades again. Here's another case too. On this bar, you close right on the bottom Bollinger, and you easily get way more than 5 points on that one. This one closes on it, but never ticks above, so it's not what I'm talking about. So I think there's potential for it. But again, don't listen to me. Anything you hear from me, if you ever consider trying it, test it out yourself. I'm not a Bollinger pro. I'm just playing around with it. Alma says, I just want to stick to one strategy for 3 years. Yeah, I feel you. I've done that, so I understand that. And I don't think that's a bad way of thinking. Honestly, because even if, like for me, for instance, like I stuck to that PAT strategy for 3 years on ES. And like, even though I'm not trading that PAT strategy anymore, because first of all, the way he teaches it, Mac teaches it, it's only on ES, it's only on a 2000 chart. He says, in theory, you could do it on any chart, on any instrument, but the way he teaches it, what he's showing, the thing to do is to trade it on the ES, on the 2000 tick chart, trade it his way, and, stick to all of his rules and everything. So I did that for 3 years. I wasn't able to make myself be successful, that is, with it, or profitable. But even though I'm not trading specifically that exact system anymore, I still use a lot of what I learned from trading that way in what I'm doing now. And it's largely working for me. I mean, I'm still running into issues here and there, having bad days, and I'm still trying new things too. So that's part of in the mix of when I've had some bad days recently. But I think I had to do that 3 years, and I think the 3 years was good for me to just trade the one single strategy, and I learned a lot from it. And now I can apply everything I know from that I can apply it to some of these other things that I'm trying to try out. And I think it's making me a better trader overall. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I know ICT for you. Yeah, I think if it's working for you so far, I mean, look, you just got to pay out, right? So it seems to be working for you. There's no reason for you to change to something else if something's working, right? I mean, you're already further along than I ever was with the strategy I was trying for 3 years. So, you know, I'd say no reason to change anything. Don't add anything. Don't change anything. Stick to what's working, and you know, don't tweak anything unless you get to a point where you feel like you have to. You know, that's what happened to me. I just got to a point where, okay, I was 3 years in. I had the same kind of mentality. Honestly, I was like, I want to give this a really good chance, this one single strategy, and be the best I could figure out how to be with it, and then see after a long period of time where I was. And I just got to the point where I was like, okay, I have to make a change. It's not working for me. I'm not able to emulate the strategy exactly the way it's shown. It's not giving me the results. So I made changes, and I think it's all for a reason. It's all leading me to where I want to be. It's just taking much longer than I thought it would. This is exactly those 3 years helped you learn something and it stuck. Yeah. Well, I'll say it, the thing that I carry with me more than anything is because there was all kinds of rules, and there's a lot of very subjective stuff to it. So it's like, if you don't see things and think exactly like this guy thinks, then you're not gonna be able to reproduce the results of what he supposedly has. So, if it was more of a black and white system, then maybe, but it's just subjective, right? So, just lost my train of thought. So yeah, but even though all of that, the reality is that I did learn how to read price action better and have a better idea of the context of the market structure, and just be able to like have an understanding of like what the market's tendencies are, and that helps me. And then now I'm just folding different elements of strategies, just taking things that I've seen or wondered about myself, like the Bollinger. It's not even something that I've seen somebody show that I was like, oh yeah, I like what they just showed, I'm going to use that. It's more like I remember looking at Bollinger in the past, and I had a kind of a thought about how I might be able to use it in combination with the way I trade. And so, it's just kind of me trying to figure out how to use it on my own for the way I trade. So that's the thing. I think for a lot of people, it's funny. I actually remember Alpine saying this at some point, and just saying, he doesn't really believe that most people can just like emulate someone's strategy exactly the way they do it and be entirely successful just doing it exactly the way someone teaches it on YouTube. And to a certain degree, I agree. Like, to a certain degree, I feel like you got to take what people teach and then make it your own to make it work for you. There's like little adjustments you can make, whether it's like the amount of profit target you go for, or the way you use your stops, or, there's just like little things that you can adjust and make your own to make the strategy work better for you. And that's where I'm at in my game now, is like, ES wasn't working for me. I was like, had to make a change. So now I'm on NQ. I think NQ is way better for me. For whatever reason, NQ just fits the way I want to trade better. Maybe not using tick charts all of a sudden. I've been on tick charts for over 3 years, and now I'm thinking, well, this 1 minute chart, I never really gave it a chance when I started. I went right to tick charts. I think I like the 1 minute chart. So I'm gonna I'm putting a little bit more focus on the tick chart now. I'm just looking if I was trading this. I might be looking for another leg up. And this is going to be a second entry long off the bottom Bollinger. So if I was trading, I might take this trade as a long right here. I don't think it would have triggered yet. Oh, it would have. It would have triggered. So let's see what happens. I was thinking about entering it on sim account. So I'll enter on sim account if it goes up from here. Just see, this is just sim. All right, good thing it's just sim. Alma says, what is your HTF time chart? Are you talking about high time frame? I mean, I haven't even been looking today, but I've got a 5 minute. Oh, well, on the 5 minute, that trade doesn't look great. I've got a 15 minute, and then I still have tick charts that I watch. So it's funny. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to any of those other charts right now, and none of them look good for the trade I just took. But that's the thing. Like if I wasn't paying attention, like I really wasn't paying attention here, I probably wouldn't have taken that trade on my Apex accounts. But because it was sim, it was just really easy to just take it anyway. And even so, I mean, what did I lose? 94 points. There's only 4 points, 16 ticks. Try it again. Move this higher just because I'm expecting it to go all the way to the top, really. Let's see if this is one of those times it gets stuck in the middle. If I left my profit target in the original spot, it would have already been a winner. But I'll just take this as an opportunity to learn if this doesn't work out, since it's just sim. But my expectation would be it gets back up here, just based on the Bollinger. So I'll put here just to lock in what I lost before. This is what I put before the Bollinger. All right, I'll lock in what I lost on sim on the last trade. So already I guaranteed that I'm break even from the loss. Now more than break even. All right, so it's as if that first loss never even happened. So that's the nice thing about being on the 1 minute chart is I literally can recover a loss in one single trade. In case like this, oh look, there it goes. Now it's going all the way up. So that was literally like I took a trade based on a second entry off the Bollinger. It didn't work. I took a loss, but then had this strong bar again afterwards and figured, okay, it's going to go to the top of the Bollinger this time, and re-entered and was able to just make up for that loss in a single trade. So it's kind of an example of why I don't need to DCA. And it's also an example of why the 1 minute chart's probably better for me to trade on. And it's also an example of how the Bollinger, even though I took a loss, I could still, you know, I could have waited for it to come all the way to the top Bollinger. Look, we've got the full profit target that I was expecting. So, yeah, just interesting. I still don't see any update or notice that Rhythmic is okay. It's literally been 3 hours since they posted on Discord to stop trading Rhythmic accounts if you're having problems. I assume it's fine now, but I'm just not going to do it. I mean, I even could just like take one evaluation that I haven't traded yet and trade on it, but I don't know. I feel like I'll be really frustrated if something gets messed up for their technical reasons, and then they're like, oh, well, that was after the time period that was having problems, so we're not going to fix it. So I just don't even want to take a chance with it. Mama says, I forget why not try Bullinox. Honestly, because I just never felt like I had a need or reason to. I think Bullinox is fine though, from everything I've heard about it. I don't have anything against Bullinox. I think in fact, if there was ever a time where I decided to not trade with Apex, I think Bullinox is probably the one I would go with, honestly. But I personally don't have any reason to not trade with Apex, and I don't personally feel any reason to trade with a different firm at this point. Because I haven't even proved that I can get a payout. Like, I don't think it matters which firm I'm with, which company. I think that I still have to figure out how to make this happen. And for me, the best place to figure it out is Apex, because I like the rules. I like how I can scale up in accounts, and I like the rules as far as how you can use the contracts that you're allowed to use, and I don't mind the trailing drawdown, and yeah, I don't really, I like the pricing of Apex. So for me, it's for no other reason than just I don't feel like I have a reason to need to trade with a different company. I don't think that my issues of not getting payouts, I don't think the issue is like the company I'm trading with. I think the issue is just me. I think I'm the issue so far in not getting payouts. So I got to solve my own trading problem. Yeah, I think Apex is as fine a place to do it as any. So that's all. But yeah, I think Bullinox is probably good from what I've seen and heard about it. I've never tried it. Looking very rangy. Still thinking potential of this measured move, which basically puts us at the low of yesterday. If it can get up there. I think this first trade potentially could have been avoided if I was paying a little bit more attention. Just the fact that where that trade set up wasn't really a level. Like the level is more defined down here. So if I was really paying attention, then maybe I would have had that in mind. The other thing I could kind of do is measure this and measure this. That's also higher. So I think the long idea was right. It's just a little premature. And this is the kind of thing that would happen to me when I was trading Pat's system with the Pat's rules. And I was 2 legs down with the setup, and it would lose just to take you out and go on to work. I never really understand that. And this gives me, what I'm looking at now gives me a little bit more reason, understanding. It makes sense to me that this is really more of a range right now. And second entries aren't necessarily the best entries in a range. And again, so, the Bollinger Band's lining up really well with this range that I've just laid out. So, so far when I've seen that, it tends to to mean think a little bit more range and a little bit less directional. So it's 9:45. I mean, I don't know, I guess I can keep doing this on sim. It's never really my intention to ever trade sim on my live streams, but this is a different circumstance because of the rhythmic issues they were having before. I probably just won't even do a review today because anything I have to say, I've said it in the live stream. And what am I going to review? Review the fact that I couldn't take any trades today because I didn't trust rhythmic. I feel like a waste of my time. It says, yeah, I got to trade fair value gaps in a trend, not on a range. In a range, I got to look for traps. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, to me, this was a trap right here. Like I got trapped on the first one, and then the shorts got trapped after that. That's how I see that one. It's kind of a double trap both ways, but because it's the range, it made more sense that we're going to go back up after this bar. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. It just shows you, Alma, like how much in common there is between what you do with fair value gaps and what I do with second entries. There's a lot, they just happen in the same places a lot of times. There's a lot of similarities. And then, but the same thing is true is like the second entries don't work as well in ranges. And the traps work, so it's kind of the same story. If you think about strategies just on charts, whether it's ICT, whether it's PATs, second entries, two-leg pullbacks, whatever you want to call them, whether it's support resistance level, where it's supply and demand, they're all related to each other. They're all basically, when you break it down, almost the same strategies. They're just kind of taught differently, and they have different, different names for things, or different jargon, whatever you want to call it. But they're all based on the same concepts of where's supply and demand, where's support resistance, where's the value in taking a trade in one direction or the other. Alma says it's related, and like you said, all that remains is to fix ourselves. Yeah, I really believe that. Like that's the point of the journey that I'm in. Is like I actually, it almost doesn't even matter what strategy I use at this point, because I understand enough about the market and the way the market moves and market structure and things like that. That at this point, I can almost take any strategy and it won't matter. I'm not going to be successful at it until I fix myself. That's like, I literally think that I haven't received a payout yet, only because of myself and what's inside of me, because I've been so close to getting payouts so many times, literally within a trade, multiple times, one single trade. It's like when I was trying to pass this evaluation the other day, yesterday, that is now this PA, and like when it was an evaluation and the evaluation at $3,000, no problem. I was able to do it. I did it in 7 days. I'm not even sure. I don't remember, but I don't even know if I took any losses on that account. Don't remember exactly. So I know I took a bunch of losses last week, so maybe I did, but I'm not remembering. But point being that I was able to pass the evaluation. I've now passed evaluations 11 times. You know, I'm able to do it, no problem. It's not even really that hard, honestly, when I just trade the way I trade. But then to be, probably on 7 or 8 out of the 10 PA accounts, I've been within, a few $100s or a single trade multiple times, and never was able to get across the finish line. And it's just me. I was trading the accounts differently. The pressure of getting across that dollar amount and knowing that I'm close would make me more hesitant to take trades. I'd skip trades that were good trades, and then I'd take trades that were bad trades. It's all mental at that point. It was literally just me. And it was me letting the pressure of like, oh, I'm so close. I need to make that next one perfect and need to like get a great trade. And I'd be so careful and timid and defensive about it that that's when I would pick up losers. And when I'm not trading that way, when it's just another trade, I don't have that issue. I take mostly good trades. So yeah, I don't think it matters which firm I'm with. There's no reason for me to trade firms or change firms. I just need to get myself right. And I'm so close, and so we'll see if I can do it on this new PA account. 11, I like 11, could be a lucky number. So hopefully I can just stick to trading the way I know I can trade and not letting the pressures of being close or anything that might come up while trading it, get to me. So we'll see what happens here, because this is like a third test of this area. It's also a new high, first entry, potential second entry setting up. So if I see a setup, maybe I'll take it again on Sim. We'll see. I'd really like to be able to trade my Apex accounts, but I'm just not going to trust Rhythmic today. Oh, I want it to be, I missed it. I was going to try to take that. That's too slow. I believe it'll go at least up here. So again, this was a first entry, second entry, a triple test of the support of the range. It also pierced the bottom of the Bollinger, and the expectation is it goes at least to the top of the Bollinger. So the Bollinger's gotten pulled down here. So I'm going to adjust the profit target for that. Also, just because it's range, you kind of expect it to go all the way to the top, and got measured moves higher. So still thinking it should come all the way up here, but to be safe, personally, I'm going to start playing it to the Bollinger. I like that trade. I should have just done, instead of trying to put the stop up there, it's almost like I forgot to do it. It's been so long since I've placed orders that way. I should have just bought the bid. I would have gotten in that trade. But still, nice to see something work. That is what I was thinking of doing. All right, Amma. Good seeing you. Thanks for coming by today. I think I'm actually gonna feel like I don't know why I'm streaming. I don't really know what the point of streaming is right now, since I'm not trading Apex counts. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll probably be shutting down the stream soon here. Got a triple test off the top. Pierce the Bollinger. It's just a first entry to the short side, but it is a triple test and a lower high. So seems like a good time to think coming back down to the bottom of the Bollinger. How big is this bar? 40 ticks. 10 points. I mean, much less risk than my tick charts. All right. Anyone that's here have an opinion whether I should keep streaming or not? I don't know what the point is. Even if I sat here and continue to do this on Sim, it's kind of not what I ever intended to do is not to trade Sim on stream. So it's kind of not. I don't know. Kind of feel like I don't know what the point of streaming is today. Discords are on fire today. Everybody's bad. Everybody's mad about something. All right. I'm going to end the stream. There's no reason to continue streaming. I'm not trading Apex today. I'll trade it hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully Rhythmic will be normal. So as far as I know, today is the last day for the 90% off. Me personally, I still think Apex is where it's at. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying with Apex. Everyone can do what they want to do. If you don't like Apex's rules, there's plenty of other options out there. And for me, I don't feel like anything that they're enforcing as far as the rules go will affect me in any way that matters. So feel free to use this code or any other if you're going to get some accounts. Today, as far as we know, is the end of the 90% sale at midnight tonight. Obviously, I have more than enough accounts, so I'm not going to be getting any more. Who knows, maybe with this Rhythmic issue, maybe they'll extend. Look at that. Look at that. Just reached that measured move. And we've still got another measured move to go up here. Potential. So, yeah, we'll see if they extend it. But if they don't extend it, this might be a good opportunity to pick up the accounts if you think that Apex is still good enough for you. And use my code or any other code you have. Just never pay full price. That's the biggest thing. And other than that, I should be streaming tomorrow at 9:25 Eastern as long as Rhythmic is working. And other than that, I think I've said it all. All right. Hope you had a good trading day. I hope the issues didn't affect you. And if they did affect you, hopefully Apex will do the right thing and make your accounts good and not cause any further issues for you. So having said all that, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.